wanted to learn millinery, and I worked in one of those basement workrooms, associated with the couturiers, earning £2.10 a week, making hats. And I love making them, but this £2.10 a week was hard going, since I spent the lot on stockings anyway. And I had plenty of time to think there, and it seemed so ridiculous making really one hat for one woman to wear to Ascot, which cost 30 quid. And then the day she went, it would rain, and so she'd bring it back and say her husband didn't like it. And I was earning £2.10, she paid 30 quid for the hat, but it was too much. She wore it once anyway, with luck, and the whole thing was crazy. And there we were, living in a world, with motor cars going past outside and aeroplanes and everything. And we were making hats that sometimes took 3 days to make. It was just mad. And I loved designing the hats and pinning them up, but not sewing them. This is a drag, So it seemed to me obvious that clothes should be made by mass production when we live in a mass production age.
This was, after all, 10 years before the Beatles, I suppose, were getting on that way. And I wore hair more or less down to my shoulders, and Mary wore skirts halfway up her thighs, and everybody else was wearing them 4 or 5 inches below the knee. And we didn't know any of the sort of parlance of the trade at all, and but we knew nothing about business. And we used to go into various manufacturers and say, we want to buy some dresses, please. And they say, awfully sorry, we're wholesale only. And we say, well, that's okay, we have a shop in the King's Road, you see. And so if they weren't absolutely rude, they'd go through the pretense of taking an order from us, and the stuff would never turn up. They just didn't believe in these kids with the shop, So it was awfully difficult. There were a few manufacturers who were friendly and nice and helpful. Dorville, which is quite a famous firm in this country, and I dare say in Canada, was one of them. And I remember the great thing that happened there is one of the things they had was a purely classic V-neck sweater. And Mary said to the managing director of this place, could you make it another foot longer, please? And he said, it would look more like a dress if I do that. She said, exactly. But he did it, and he can't have paid him to make, perhaps 50 or 60 of these things for us. And however he did. And that was how the sack was born. It came out in Paris a year later, and we began to be taken, notice of by the fashion press.
I love factories. I like to wander around in factories, and, it's all like magic to me. I don't understand anything about it, and I don't understand how they work, but it seems to magic to me, the way they say sweaters and knitted dresses and things so can come out on like sausages, all joined together, one after the other, terribly fast, and see those bobbins going around with colours. I just love to wander around, and I saw how they made, for instance, dresses. There's one sort of vital thread they pull between each sausage, so to speak, and then the things separate. And I realised, one could use that thread and make dresses with any length skirt. When you get bored, you start with the long one. When you get bored, you sort of pull it off and have it a bit shorter. You get really bored, you could pull it off and have it shorter again. And when you're really bored, you can turn it into a sweater. Machines can do such fantastic things if you go and sort of have a look at them and see what they can do. And this, I find, gives me ideas.